Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and it's been a moment, but I am back. I was on vacation visiting my sister in Japan for a few weeks, but of course we have candles. There was a sale, I think the last weekend I was over there, so I placed a Boppis order because I was like, I really want those candles before the sale ends, and I don't want to wait a whole week. So I put a Boppis over while I was still in Japan, and then picked it up once I returned, and here we go. Yeah, Japan was a whole lot of fun. It was so great seeing my sister and spending time with her. It was really sad to leave her, but she did enjoy the candles that I got for her. Japan was a lot of fun. It was actually quite overwhelming though, just because I hadn't been back there since I was a child. So there were some elements to it that were still quite foreign because I'm not super proficient in the Japanese language. I know casual Japanese, but I don't really know formal Japanese, which is what was used a lot. So I was like, oh my god, what's going on here? So it was quite overwhelming juggling the foreign aspect of it, as well as trying to figure out the train system in Tokyo, which is quite daunting and just very overwhelming. But I ate so much juicy food. There's so much like awesome bread over there, as well as soft serve ice cream and like all the flavors. I had rose flavored soft serve, which was amazing. They have like grape flavored ones. They have melon flavored ones. They have like green tea and roasted green tea. Just the best like desserts, cakes, and bread over there. It was awesome. As well as being able to get access to like Japanese food that is usually jacked up in price because it's an import product here in the States, but because it is like, you know, the local product over there, the prices were like just shopping regular grocery store prices for stuff that we normally pay for a premium over here. So that was so much fun too. And the exchange rate is also great for the American dollar, that you get so much more for your money. So that was pretty juicy as well. Well, what's not juicy, however, was the candle selection in Japan. They just simply really don't have a huge home fragrance market over there. You go to the stores and you just really don't see much. You do see most frequently are like this reed stick diffusers here and there, kind of more just geared towards using in a small space like a closet or a bathroom. A lot of the reed diffusers were over there. Very, very, very limited selection of candles. I mean, absolutely nothing by the way of like Bath and Body Works level fragrances or candles over there whatsoever. There was just like maybe like one like store that was like, you know, a lower price point that had some like single wick small boxed candles, but anywhere from like 4 to 8 fragrances. But even those fragrances were very basic, just like floral, white musk, like just a clean fragrance, maybe like a green tea fragrance, but nothing super spectacular. And once again, just very small single wick boxed candle. It had a nice presentation, but like a single wick small candle is probably not going to give me a lot of throw. So nothing at all by the way of like a massive 3 wick from Bath and Body Works. They have some wood wicks, few and far between, but those are jacked up in price. And as you guys know, Woodwick is a subsidiary of Yankee Candle, so the throw is probably not going to be very great. So I'm certainly not paying a premium price to get Woodwick over in Japan when you can get them, you know, pretty reasonably over here. So don't need that. And then the only other candle option I really saw was Diptyque. So if you go into the more like sort of like shopping districts of Tokyo, you can find like Diptyque boutiques and you can buy luxury candles over there. But I'm really not in the market for luxury candles. I mean, granted, it'd be cheaper because of the exchange rate. But even then, I'm just really not looking for Diptyque candles, even though they do smell great. And they usually have a pretty good throw. But once again, there's just really nothing in like the Bath and Body Works tier of fragrances or candles over there. Very hard to come by, even like a gourmand fragrance. So that was what I experienced over in Japan. So not a single candle purchase over there whatsoever because the market just really doesn't exist. I also sort of hypothesized that maybe the reason that it doesn't exist is that I actually noticed that people really don't wear perfume over in Japan either, at least in Tokyo. I was amongst many people. There were people just crammed into the trains, like you're standing, there's no room to sit because all the seats are taken, and you're like shoulder to shoulder bumping against people. So I was exposed to a ton of people every day in and out of the trains in the massive public areas, and you never really smell perfume on anybody was what I realized. Because here in America, it's like, girl, you go to anywhere where there's a ton of people and you're bound to smell freaking Baccarat Rouge 540 on somebody somewhere. And it's just like, oh my god, here we go again with that fragrance. And you smell all other kind of perfumes on everybody, just, you know, whiffs here and there. People spray cologne pretty strong as well, so you smell that. But in Japan, I mean, it was like 2 weeks solid of being among people and on the busy trains, and I really hardly ever smelled perfume on anybody. You might get a whiff of someone's like laundry or fabric softener in the wind, but I never really smelled perfume on anybody whatsoever. And in Japan, there's a huge emphasis on like etiquette and harmony, and in terms of like not disturbing or inconveniencing those around you. And I might think that a part of that is that you don't want to disturb or inconvenience somebody by having really strong fragrance that could disturb or upset somebody or irritate their noses. So as a consideration for other people, I think they might not wear personal fragrance as much as here in the States, because of that kind of etiquette that exists there. And as a result, that might carry over to your home as well, as like if you have visitors over, maybe they're just like not accustomed to having really strong fragrances, and so that's why they just have these really small like little reed diffuser sticks that you like might find in like a bathroom somewhere. But once again, it's a closed small room, rather than having a full-blown like 3-wick candle just blast in your house and like scenting up the whole place. And also I saw a lot of like multi-family residences in Japan as well, and I hear even from people who like live in New York City, if you like put a Bath and Body Works candle in your room, it goes into the hallway and could potentially go into the neighbors, so like that might be a consideration as well. So I just don't think fragrances, I mean, you see perfume shops, you still see scented lotion, you still see some hand soaps, but just nowhere near the crazy fragrance industry and market here in America. So that was kind of my experience, in case you were wondering what the fragrance variety is in Japan. It just really doesn't exist a whole lot. So, of course, for all the good things there are about Japan, the fragrance market is not so great, and so I really did miss Bath and Body Works in those 2 weeks. It was nice taking a break from burning candles, because now all the candles I burn now smell much stronger because I've given my nose a break, but I still miss shopping for it, and I just like smelling new fragrances. Like the novelty of new fragrances and shopping for new fragrances is so much fun that I was like, oh my god, I'm just chomping at the bit for some new candles. So of course I put in my Bopis order, and this is the result of that. And now that that's out of the way, let me get into the video. Yes. So there was a like 2-tiered floor set going on where some of the candles came out for the sale, and then the day after was like when Feliz Navidad and To All a Good Night came out, which were not part of the sale. So those are not part of this haul, but I have like the new Ube ones and the crunchy English toffee and all that kind of stuff, so we'll get right into it. Let's see, the first candle we have is the Neutrals collection for the holiday time. Unfortunately, 2 out of the 4 are repackages that are Palo Santo and Sage was just out for the springtime and into the summer, so we don't need that. And there was also what was the other one? Coffee and Whiskey, which is that still currently out or just clearance out for the fall time? And it's just like we have that back-to-back again. They couldn't throw us a bone and give us two more new ones, but at least we got the 2 new ones that we did get. So we have Wildberry and Ube right there. Let's see. That's what that is. Fresh wild berries, purple ube, and creamy vanilla. I think ube is like a purple sweet potato found in Asia, and it's kind of like taro, but not exactly. I think it's supposed to be sweeter and more fluffy than taro, but I don't really have much experience with ube, but I do have much experience with taro, so it's kind of like a sort of like a sweet, like starchy, sort of potato-y quality, but I think ube is supposed to be even sweeter than taro, so that's kind of what you would imagine when you smell ube. So I was like, Wildberry and Ube, they've been doing a lot of Wildberry fragrances. We got like the Wildberry that came up in PB&J ice cream, raspberry thumbprints not too far off from that sort of Wildberry jam donut thing. We also have the Happy Hannukah that's coming up here real soon as well. So they tend to do a lot of these like a similar fragrance, but just tweak them ever so slightly and give them all new names and put them out on the market and kind of test them. They just seem to hover around the same fragrances a lot, and it seems to be the case with this Wildberry and Ube. So, any case, in smelling it, these were all like blind when I did the order online, because hello, I was in Japan, so I couldn't smell them. I have already burned this one, and I actually really enjoy this one. This one's delicious. This is really up the alley of kind of like PB&J ice cream, Wildberry jam donut. I just love those variety of fragrances, and this is a different take on it. I believe it's actually new. It is not Wildberry jam donut exactly. It doesn't quite have that sort of yeasty powdered donut, sort of fried dough bakery quality to it. It has something a little bit more earthy and almost like vegetable-y in the way that you would get from a potato that kind of grounds it and gives it a little bit of an earthiness. And just a little bit of like a ube taro twist that I get that makes it a little bit more exotic and different, mixed with the wildberry, and it kind of just like grounds it and tones it down. But the wildberry is still quite similar to the Wildberry Jam Donut Wildberry nonetheless. But still a nice twist on it that I enjoy. That I was burning this, I was like, oh, this is delicious. I just kind of want to eat it. It almost smells like a very sweetened like berry taro milk tea, or like a bubble tea, you know, that's taro flavor, but they also like put in pumps of berry in it as well to make it even extra sweet. And it kind of has that sort of like milky, creamy quality you might get from a taro milk tea. So pretty awesome. I really enjoy that. So Wildberry and Ube right there. There was a coupon for a free body care item with any purchase, and the hand soap sale was going on for $3.50, and I wanted to redeem that coupon, so I actually got the matching Wildberry and Ube hand soap. So happy to see that in this like juicy pink matte packaging. The same notes on it. This smells pretty much the same as the candle does, and it's pretty awesome when you're using it in your hands because it once again kind of has that sort of like PB&J ice cream, Wildberry Jam Donut in hand soap form. And normally, I think traditionally in the past, these like neutrals textured bottles were not gentle and clean, but now that they're all gentle and clean, I can finally enjoy some of these more unique fragrances, so I enjoy that. So this was pretty fun too. Moving on, we have another one in the neutrals collection, and the other new one, and it's Balsam and Bergamot right there, and that's what that looks like. They have like a fun iridescent finish to the label. This one says Balsam Branches, Crisp Air, and Zesty Bergamot. I have actually burned this one once as well and was pleasantly surprised by it. Originally, I was like, ooh, I don't know how this is gonna be, because bergamot can really go towards the cologne route, because a lot of bergamot notes show up in like, you know, their cologne fragrances. But this bergamot is actually different in the sense that it's more like a true like bitter orange or bitter citrus type of fragrance, where there's that just like bitter zing of a citrus, rather than like the whole cologne aspect they usually throw in with bergamot. So you get that really zing, bitter, acidic citrus note, with something a little bit perfumey and soapy and clean that comes off as like a white floral that is not listed but could potentially be the crisp air note. There's something very like clean, soapy, and floral, and the citrus mixed with the floral kind of reminds me of like a spring fragrance, to be completely honest. And the balsam is not super prominent. If you're expecting like a citrus balsam fragrance in the realm of winter citrus wreath or ice winter balsam, this really is not it. This doesn't smell super Christmassy or piney to my nose whatsoever. The balsam honestly just gives it a little bit of a green grassiness in the background mixed with that floral and the citrus, and overall it comes off smelling more like a spring fragrance. Yeah, clean and soapy with a heavy zing of citrus. Yeah, but the clean soapiness has a little bit of like white floral action in there. But the more I burned it, the more I actually enjoyed it. It wasn't quite Christmassy or wintry like I was hoping for, but it has a slightly perfumey, clean quality to it. It's not quite laundry, but kind of has a similar clean soapy feel to it. That when I was burning it, I was like, wow, this is actually pleasantly different and just clean and awesome. So I didn't mind it. So that was Balsam and Bergamot right there. Moving on, we have Woodlands, which is the new men's single fragrance launch. That's what that looks like. Handsome packaging on that. This one's cool citrus, fresh sage, and Virginia cedar. I was really hoping for something that truly smelled like woodsy or woodland or like pine trees or pine needles. Unfortunately, this is not it. This just smells like another generic ass men's cologne fragrance. Could be After Dark. It could be, I don't know, a whiskey reserve. It could be some oceanic fragrance and we would believe it. This could really be any men's cologne fragrance. I was a little disappointed about that. I was really hoping for more of that sort of like pine branch sap note that you might associate with Woodlands, and I'm just really not getting that. And when you smell it, it is so immensely similar to the After Dark fragrance from last year, but when you do a side-by-side of it, they're actually different. After Dark is much heavier, and this one has a more crisp cleanness to it, but still generic nonetheless. I really don't know if I need to even keep this, but I do enjoy just like kind of collecting all the single fragrance launches, so we'll see. But that was Woodlands right there. Nothing to write home about. Moving on, we have Happy Hannukah, and that's what that looks like right there. This one is called something that I cannot pronounce, Sufganiyat. I don't know, I think that might be whatever dessert is associated with the Hanukkah holiday. Pillowy fried donut, sweet jelly filling, sprinkled with powdered sugar. This has a thick rope-like wicks on it, and that's what that looks like. This one smells similar to Wildberry Jam Donut, but it's not as heavy on that sort of jelly jam fragrance, but it still smells like a jam jelly donut nonetheless, but once again, more toned down on the raspberry jelly filling that you get from the original candle. This one is more emphasis on that sort of fried donut fragrance that you get with sort of like the powdery yeasty texture you get from the bottom of the donut. That is very much the prominence here, but still get like sort of buttery jelliness mixed in there as well, that it really just smells like a jelly donut. Oftentimes in vendor wax, there's like a jelly donut fragrance oil out there. This is very, very, very reminiscent of it, down to sort of that fried donut note that gives it that authenticity that I enjoy. So yeah, I look forward to burning this one. If you like Wildberry Jam Donut or like a jam donut fragrance, definitely check this one out. It's very much in that route. So that's that right there. Moving on, there's this like holiday wrap type of design that we have right here. Crunchy English toffee right there. Sweet brown sugar crunchy toffee and a dash of vanilla extract. And I was like, okay, this kind of just smells like another generic type of like toffee, caramel, crunch type of fragrance to it. But then when I was hauling this on my Instagram live the other night, people were saying it kind of smelled like chocolate chip cookies from that paintbrush paint stroke collection. I totally get that. Where it's like actually chocolatey and caramely at the same time, even though it doesn't make any listing of chocolate in there. But like sometimes brown sugar can almost have like sort of cocoa-y type of a molasses quality to it, that it does kind of smell like the chocolate chip cookies candle that we got before, which that kind of smelled like a chocolate caramel fragrance. And by association, it also smells similar to the salted chocolate caramel fragrance that we had before. Was it salted caramel chocolate? Something like that. And that blue jar in the COVID era, and there was like a pink one that was some like iced coconut chai thing. It was in that collection. I think like cinnamon sugar donut or something might have been in that collection too as a green candle. But yeah, it kind of smells like that salted caramel chocolate or salted chocolate caramel, whatever it was, or chocolate chip cookies, where it's like a caramel fragrance with an extra like cocoa-y richness to it. So we'll see how this does. It's like not straight up salted butterscotch. It's not that intensely caramel or salted, honestly. Yeah, there's hints of it that also kind of reminds me of the salted pretzel milkshake candle as well, which I think had like a chocolate and a caramel presence to it. So yeah, we'll see how it does. I feel like this is just a little bit more than what the name says, but we have crunchy English toffee right there. And lastly, we have the Golden Berry Mistletoe, and that is the new fragrance in the Holiday Traditions lineup, and it has that sort of gold lid on there. This one is Sparkling Berries, Sugared Spruce, and Frosted Air. I actually burned this one yesterday. On cold, I wasn't a huge fan of it. On cold, it really reminded me a lot of the White Barn Spruce candle. There was just like a White Barn core candle way back in the day. It had just a white glass to it, and it said spruce on it. And I think we might have had a spruce and an elements line before as well. And it's just that sort of like almost like cappy type of smelling, like that sort of aerosol-y tree fragrance that we get. That's not too far off from like Season's Greetings from Homeworks as well. It has a distinct whatever that type of spruce tree note is present in here. It kind of has that sort of aerosol hairspray quality to it, but then it's mixed with that sort of like traditional synthetic Bath and Body Works citrus berry body care perfume fragrance we get in there. So it's like that spruce mixed with that sort of synthetic, even more hairspray citrus berry blend. But when you go to burn it, it's nice. It still smells kind of like a tree, but it still has like this sort of bubbly, effervescent, like bright synthetic Bath and Body Works like body care perfume fragrance to it. But mixed together, it was still very like holiday and like celebration-ish that I enjoyed it. And I was like, ooh, this kind of smells like Christmas. So yeah, it wasn't bad. Golden Berry Mistletoe right there. It was plenty strong when I burned it just for like the hour that I had it going for. So that was that right there. Of course, comes in body care if you are interested in that. The other candles that I smelled but weren't on sale because I picked this up after the sale was over, but they had it out in the glass lid collection of $29.95 was the To All a Good Night. That was like this kind of like laundry, almost soapy fragrance. It was not Ice Vanilla Woods, which would have been a great fragrance for that slot, but it was not that. It kind of reminds me of some other like body care fragrance we've had before, and it kind of vaguely reminiscent of fresh mint and coconut in that blue and white like wraparound packaging we had a really long time ago. soapy, laundry-ish, kind of a clean fragrance. It's not overly wintry or holiday by any means. A little weird because like Under a Christmas Tree and The Perfect Christmas are so quintessentially holiday, and so I wish like the blue one was also very quintessentially holiday, but it was not. It was just like the sort of clean, soapy fragrance that could be marketed for any time of the year. So don't need that for like any kind of high price, but Candle Day or some like Equalizer $12.95 sale, perhaps. So there was that. And then Feliz Navidad, which was like the Mexican hot chocolate fragrance that I was fully expecting to be a mashup of the hot cocoa and cream and cinnamon sugared vanilla. But I never actually burned that candle, but on cold it smelled a little bit different. There was a little bit more of like a bakery depth to the Mexican hot chocolate fragrance that I enjoyed. It smells scrumptious. The packaging is totally snatched. Comes with a ceramic lid on it. Once we get a single price point sale for all candles, I will pick that up, but not for like a 10 off or anything like that. But the Feliz Navidad candle did smell pretty good. So we'll see how that does when it goes to burn. And I think that was it for all the candles. Everything else is pretty much repackaged under the sun. Yeah. So there was that. And then lastly, I picked up, which is in my handbag right now, or my messenger bag, so I don't have it with me, but it was the Northern Brights pocket bag that I just threw in there. And then I loved the pocket bag so much that I actually got the body wash. Redeemed it with the free body care item coupon because I really enjoy it. It's eucalyptus and pine. And a lot of times with the eucalyptus fragrances, they can be a little bit too eucalyptus oil in that sort of eucalyptus spearmint type of fragrance that I get kind of sick of. But this one, the eucalyptus is actually really well balanced with the pine fragrance, and it gives it like just sort of this clean, soapy freshness to it that breaks up how heavy I guess the pine fragrance could be. But the pine smells very natural as well. It's very like sort of like sappy, pine needle-ish, and you get plenty of that pine note mixed with a very fresh, invigorating eucalyptus, and together it's just this awesome, clean, invigorating, like pine tree fragrance that I really enjoy. And the eucalyptus honestly takes the edge off of how like Christmassy like a pine fragrance could be, and it gives it just like this kind of like woodsy outdoor quality to it as well. That's really fresh and juicy. I love this. It's like the closest we've gotten to like just a straight up like pine fragrance outside of like the fresh Balsam 3-in-1 body wash we had that one year. Really enjoy this. The only downfall with, especially I feel like even the aromatherapy body washes are even less lathery than the new and improved, less lathering body wash we get in the regular body care lineup. This one I put on heaps of and it still just really doesn't foam or like lather anymore. So that kind of sucks because I really enjoy the fragrance, but it's nowhere near as lathery as previous body washes from Bath & Body Works before the formula change. But still, I love the Pocket Back to Pieces. It's like my go-to for the season right now, so friggin' love it. Like I love how like clean the eucalyptus is, where my hands don't feel like dirty or overly gourmand or sticky sweet, and it actually feels like I kind of like wash my hands with how crisp the eucalyptus is. So I appreciate that. So that was that right there, and I think that is it. Candle Day is upon us in like basically 1 month, which is crazy. The entire Candleless Day has been posted out there, and product photos have surfaced, so there's a lot going on there as well. And so just, yeah, so much candle action to be had, but I will burn through these candles and see how they do and go from there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.